Parents have always been concerned that their children might grow up to be musicians. Here again, if you look at ethnomusicology, if you look even back at that old book by Alan Merriam, you find that in many cultures there is a kind of stigma attached to musicians. All cultures, all societies need musicians. There is no society that does not know how to get along without musicians. We all have this large part of our brains set aside for music making. So we have to have musicians. But nobody wants their kid to be a musician, except maybe other musicians. The whole history of music as we know it is pockmarked with people who just pray that their child will go into medicine. That would have been Berlioz, who thought he was going to be a doctor until he was in his first dissecting workshop and passed out cold at the sight of blood, and that was the end of his medical career. Law was something many people were forced to consider before they said, no, I can't live without being musicians, without being a musician. I think that, and I don't know why this is so, there are people for whom music is simply the most vibrant, alive part of who they are. And you can't dissuade such a person without doing tremendous harm. I don't know what it is that causes some people to so gravitate to organized sound that everything else falls into the background. But it seems to me very clearly that that's the case, that there are people who have a predisposition to do music no matter what obstacles are put in their way. There are people who are able to somehow or other manage a real day job, to become lawyers or doctors, and also maintain their musical practice. But for people who have that determination, there's really no way of taking that away without, I think, doing considerable damage. Last summer, my husband, who's a trumpet player, he's also a musicologist, he's also on our faculty, but we were in Spain, in a small resort town, and there had been fireworks at the end of a festival. And he had been gigging and had his trumpet and was playing. And people just walk by, and sometimes they pause, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they stay for a long time. Very small child, a 2-year-old girl, comes up, and her mother cannot move her beyond the trumpet. It was a very small pocket trumpet, with coiled up. And she was dazzled, and she could not stop listening to the trumpet. So Rob got down and let her touch it. And then she wanted to be able to play it. And so we all took turns teaching her how to do embouchure and how to blow. So there was then this huge group of adults all squatting on the sidewalk going, and so she's taking this thing, and I've never seen such determination. And this 2-year-old child finally was able to play notes out of this trumpet. And she did not want to give that trumpet back. She didn't want to go home. She didn't want anything except to be attached to that trumpet. And, that child was changed that night. That child will insist on being a trumpet player. And she's not going to listen to her teacher who says, little girls don't play trumpets. She's going to be a trumpet player because she made that sort of primal connection with that instrument that may have been the first thing she ever did by choice as an agent. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. It was amazing to watch.